guys, I'm out here at Woodlawn today visiting my parents, and I wanted to do so before the semester got underway. And a headstone was placed over the weekend, and it took me a while to really move forward with the headstone because I just could not bring myself to actually try to design the headstone after my dad passed. It was just too emotional for me because I was like, it's so final. So when people delay on headstones, I fully understand that, but it had to be done. And so it took them about, I want to say 3 months to make it. I don't know all of the production portion of it, but everything was finalized, and so months ago, and so it was placed, and I had to follow up with them. I'm like, hey, you guys, is the headstone here? So let's pay for it in full. Let's get it down so that when I come out here, I'm familiar with where my parents are. And so I knew where they were, but a beautiful headstone, and the granite is really pretty, the bronze is really pretty, and I'm very grateful for Rebecca who helped me to design it. We had to pick it out last year sometime, and Mom was still living at the time, and it was just kind of an emotional day, even just going through and just trying to decide. And I was like, I don't know which color. She was like, this is what typically works better. And so I was very grateful for that assistance. And so if that's something you're struggling with as you are dealing with grief and having to still finalize some things that you probably delayed on, especially when it comes to headstones, just think about it as honoring your loved one, and it's something that has to be done. And my mother and father always honored me as their daughter. Anything I needed, they were always there for me. And so making sure that headstone was done and down for them was just something that needed to be done. It had to be done, but it's also a way of just honoring who they are: husband, wife, woman of God, man of God. And so that's just who my parents were, just to sum it up. And I put the teacher emblem for my mom, the praying hands, because we're Christians, we're believers in Jesus Christ. And I put an Air Force symbol because that was so important for my dad. I always watched air shows and shows about flying. He loved to talk about flying. Really, it was a reverberation of the fact that he had to really give up his career. He was honorably discharged from the Air Force, and so all of his dreams and aspirations, put them to the side to really help his father during his dad's time of need. And so when I think about how what you do for others comes back to you in a different way, I never knew how my parents would transition or how sick they would be at the end of their lives, but everything that they did for other people. My mom was a caregiver for her mom and dad for so many years, teaching, caregiving, and my dad helped with that process. They also helped with his mom and my mother's aunts, her dad's sisters. They helped them, my Aunt Constance too. So my parents were such helpers to other people, and all of that stuff came full circle with Tim being there to assist me as my husband, day in and day out with my parents. I couldn't have done any of this stuff without Tim's help, guidance, and leadership. And so I'm so very grateful for that. And even with a lot of processes I had to do, Tim and my mom were just right there assisting me with these things because it was very hard to kind of make decisions, but they had to be done. So I'm proud of myself, and I know that my mom is smiling at me, and I know that they are happy and that all is well. Everything's been well. And so I just wanted to share that. Picking out memorials, planning funerals, organizing, and doing all of that stuff while you're in grief is very hard, but it has to be done because you want to honor the life and the legacy of your loved ones. And so take whatever time you need, because like I said, I had to take some time with my dad before I moved it forward. And who knew that my mom would pass shortly after my dad? And so this is just the final little thing, celebrate and honor their lives. And I'm so grateful that God allowed it to happen in this beautiful place of Woodlawn, and from a historic place. And so I'm just very grateful for it all. I don't like hanging around cemeteries, but Woodlawn is such a beautiful area. I'm in this little gazebo. It's really hard to cry out here. It's hard to be sad because there's so much greenery and reminders of Jesus Christ. Every garden park has a Christian reference and a symbol. It's so beautiful. My parents are buried, well, married eternally, right? But buried in Music City Estates. and they are by trees. My parents love trees. We have magnolia trees in our yard in Mississippi, so they're outdoorsy people. And my mom, when she came out here when we would visit my dad, we were like, Mom, are you satisfied with this place? She helped to pick it out. Who knew she was picking out her own, but that's how it works. We were picking out her burial site as well. I said, Mom, this is where you're going to be buried. She was like, okay. She understood everything. My mom was certainly, in her presence of mind. And so I know that they were satisfied, happy, and that, the beauty of this place is just something that my parents love. My mom loved it. She was able to see it, and they are satisfied and everything is well. And so I'm just really happy about it. And so beautiful in the springtime and in the summer, because Woodlawn, you can purchase a service and get flowers put out for your loved ones. So even if you're out of state, you can pay like $50 or maybe $100, and every 3 or 4 months they put fresh flowers. And so when all the graves have flowers, it's so beautiful, as you can see like in the background. But that's one of the reasons why I picked this place, because it's large, it's massive, and I know that this cemetery will be well maintained. It has been maintained for some years. The people have been out here for 30s, 20s, long time. Okay.